Welcome to In Focus. I'm your host, Phan. Homelessness is nothing new. It is something that every community faces and is something that is often misunderstood. Not every homeless person is a bad person, and especially in this economy, it is on the rise. Join me as I talk to Bob Murphy of American Family Housing on what they do and how they're trying to help people get back on their feet. Bob Murphy knows a thing or two when it comes to helping out those who have fallen on tough times. As an administrator for American Family Housing in Midway City, it's his job to get people back on their feet.
A transitional program is a program that takes them from one step or place in their life to another. And that's one of our basic guiding philosophies. We meet people where they are and try to move them up the ladder of success.
AFH has been helping people who have been on the streets for the past 20 years, and they are showing no signs of stopping. Unlike emergency homeless shelters, AFH offers something different. They offer programs with counseling and select services to help people get back on their feet in the long run.
An emergency shelter is no barriers. Anybody who shows up until it's full is accepted. And as I'd said about our entry-level program, the ISN and the SHIP program, they're very low barrier, but they do have barriers as well. You have to be, substance abuse free, and you have to be willing to look for a job. Where an emergency shelter is a bed for a night. So anybody that, if that bed's open, they can have that bed. Currently, the cold weather shelter is open. It opened December 5th, I believe, a month later this year because of funding cuts than it normally does. But Orange County operates 2 cold weather shelters. They're both in National Guard armories. One's in Fullerton and one's in Santa Ana. And that is strictly a bed for the night. Sometimes there's people there, that are volunteers bringing food, and there's feeding associated with it. But there's no services. It's just strictly a bed, maybe a meal. And you come in, I think you have to be in by 4:30 or 5 o'clock, and you have to be out by 6:30 the next morning. So there are those, there's not enough emergency beds, and there's not enough time. I mean, there should be something that's a year-round shelter. I mean, it's nice that there's something when it's colder, but it's still, nobody should be sleeping out on the street in the middle of July.
One of the programs that they offer is the SHIP or ISM program, which has certain criteria in order to be admitted, but once they're in, they'll receive a roof over their heads and every tool they'll need in order to succeed.
Both of these programs are short-term. They're 60 to 90-day programs. And they don't operate out of a central facility. They're what I call our gypsy programs. They have portable beds, portable security or privacy screens, and they move from church to church locations, and they're generally there for a week to 2 weeks. The congregation supplies volunteers that bring in food and that bring in chaperone services, and they spend the night there. They're there from 6 in the evening. They have to check in, and they have to leave by 7 o'clock the next morning. And when I say they have to leave, they're required to either be working or be out looking for a job. And that's kind of central to most of our programs, is that component of needing to work.
This program has seen many successful graduates, but is only for those who want to help themselves.
Because that program and all our programs, one of the basic philosophies is we can only give you support. All the heavy lifting is up to you. We can't change your life. You can only change your life. We can give you certain resources to help you change your life, but we can't do it. We have no magic wand or no magic bullet that's going to create that. Well, this is our typical SRO, single resident room. Yeah. They come equipped with a twin bed, a small refrigerator, and a microwave. At this facility, we serve dinner here 5 nights a week to the clients that live here, and they're on their own for the weekends. And so that's why they have a microwave and a refrigerator if they want to cook in, and then they're free to naturally go out. We don't have a lot of restrictive rules on their comings and goings. We ask that they, come in by 10 o'clock at night, and the requirement of working or looking for a job, we ask that they be out doing that during the day. Between 8 and 9 o'clock, they should be off the premises and out either working or looking for a job. Each room has its own private bath and shower. So they're pretty self-contained little living units. The program's going to operate. And my basic response to that is we know what makes people successful. We're here to make people successful. If you're not willing to do the hard work to become successful, then you really should consider moving on and giving that space to someone who is going to utilize all of the aspects of the program and become successful.
In Orange County, there are approximately 41 temporary shelters that provide close to 2,600 beds for the homeless on any given night. That number may sound like a lot, but the total number of homeless folks outnumber the total amount of beds available.
A lot of these people, 6 months or a year before finding their way into our program, were living in a nice apartment somewhere. Something happened that triggered a loss of income or a decrease in income. They had to move out of the apartment, and the typical story is they moved into a motel that was fairly cheap, and then a few nights in the car to save some money, and it was always with the goal of saving money to get that first and last month to move back into an apartment. But it's a very expensive way of living, so it started this downward spiral. And instead of getting closer to that goal, they just kept getting further and further away from that goal until they would find themselves in our program. And a lot of the folks that have come through our program, this gives them the break that they needed to get their lives back in order, to get their kids into a stable school situation, and to get to a place where they could start saving a little money.
One idea that he is passionate about is something known as the EDAR. This contraption was invented through a design contest started by a producer who chanced upon a homeless woman who was eager to show him her new cardboard box she used as a home. The rest, they say, is history.
This is an EDAR. And EDAR is an acronym that stands for Everybody Deserves a Roof. And what an EDAR actually is, it's kind of like a shopping cart that it's on wheels and it's portable. It has bins at each end that have weatherproof storage bags that are removable, that someone could store their clothes in here, take these bags out, put them inside the unit when they're rolling around, and they could use these outside bins for recycling, picking up cans and bottles and things, which someone living on the street, that's a source of income for them. And then it converts into a personal sleeping space. The ends drop down, and you have a almost 7-foot long pup tent with a very comfortable mattress. It's waterproof. It's actually large enough you could have 2 smaller people in it. They have used these down in Los Angeles at the Union Rescue Mission inside the building to give some of their women visitors some degree of privacy. So it's a great device, much better than sleeping out in the weeds or just having a blanket put over you. It just needs the proper application to find where it can be accepted and be used to where the person that we would donate it to, it doesn't become a burden on them of having someone else trying to take it away from them, whether that be the authorities or another person living out on the streets. So it's a constant thing looking for the right application for these. but we think they're a great idea, just needing a home.
How much does it cost to buy one of these?
The EDARs have a suggested donation of $500. We have about a dozen of these now that have been donated to us. And we have actually 2 that have been put out, and the rest we have still in storage, looking for that good application for them.
Although AFH offers a second chance to many who are homeless or who found themselves on tough times, Murphy feels more can be done.
No one person is going to solve this problem on their own, but they can be part of the solution. They can come to an organization like ours, and there's many within Orange County and Los Angeles County, as a volunteer, as a donor, as a mentor. You know, we're always looking for people that are willing to be a mentor for our folks that are in the program. There's all sorts of activities that they could do and be involved in, and we have a whole laundry list. And if anyone would like to look on our website, which is www.afhusa.org, there's actually a tab on there that you can click on for volunteer opportunities. There's a tab you can click on for donations. And the donations don't have to be cash. They can be food, they can be clothing, they can be furniture. You know, there's just no end to the types of items that are needed. So not anybody can do it all, but everybody can do something.
Coming up after the break, find out what one of the newest innovations is in helping the homeless population. You won't want to miss it. Stay with us.
SBTN là đài truyền hình Việt ngữ đầu tiên phát hình 24 giờ qua hệ thống DirecTV và cable trên toàn cõi Hoa Kỳ và Canada. SBTN phục vụ khán giả hàng ngày với lượng tin tức cập nhật sáng, trưa, chiều, tối, dồi dào, đáng tin cậy, cùng hàng loạt tin tức địa phương từ Little Saigon, San Jose, Dallas, Houston đến Washington DC, Boston, Toronto và Việt Nam. Phim bộ hấp dẫn lôi cuốn, cải lương đặc sắc, tâm tình nghệ sĩ thú vị, vui tươi, nhạc yêu cầu thấm thiết chân tình, thể thao văn nghệ đời sống sống động hào hứng, Victoria Show với thế giới điện ảnh kỳ thú mới lạ. SBTN luôn đồng hành với khán giả qua các diễn đàn và những phiên phóng sự nóng bỏng, ghi nhận các sinh hoạt văn hóa, giáo dục, chính trị, xã hội của người Việt khắp nơi trên thế giới và tại quê nhà, cùng với những nhận định thực tế, sắc bén của các thức giả đương đại. SBTN đáp ứng nhu cầu của mọi giới, mọi lứa tuổi qua các chương trình tìm hiểu luật pháp, di trú tị nạn, sức khỏe và đời sống, thể dục dưỡng sinh, em học tiếng Việt, lịch sử Việt Nam, hàng loạt chương trình giải trí phong phú lành mạnh như Người mẫu Việt Nam, Hành trình xuyên Việt, sân khấu cuối tuần, cùng với các cuộc thi thố tài năng hào hứng sôi nổi qua các show đố ai, giải sáng tác hay nhất, giải những thước phim vàng sẽ lần lượt khởi chiếu trên SBTN. Mọi chi tiết về chương trình, ghi danh quảng cáo bảo trợ xin vào website www.sbtn.tv. SBTN hân hạnh giới thiệu DVD Người mẫu Việt Nam với cuộc thi tài sắc đầy hào hứng của 20 cô gái Việt trẻ đẹp, duyên dáng cùng chương trình ca nhạc đặc sắc với sự góp mặt của các tiếng hát trẻ trung được ái mộ nhất hiện nay: Thiên Kim, Lâm Nhật Tiến, Quốc Khanh, Đoàn Phi, Nguyễn Hồng Nhung, Christine Sa, Như Quỳnh, Đan Nguyên. 20 kiều nữ Việt, 20 niềm hy vọng, nhưng chỉ có duy nhất một danh hiệu Top Model, nên họ đã trải qua nhiều thử thách gay go, sôi nổi, phô trừ những nét tuyệt mỹ và tài năng, đặc biệt nhất qua các chương trình biểu diễn thời trang và phong cách.
We're lining up to go out on the runway, and then we heard this boom.
It's actually my mom's idea. She knew that this was a passion of mine since I was very young.
Kính thưa quý vị, người đã thắng giải Top Model năm 2008 là thí sinh.
Ai là Top Model 2008? Hãy mua DVD Người mẫu Việt Nam do Trung tâm Asia phát hành ngày 31 tháng 12 năm 2008.
Welcome back to In Focus. I'm your host, Thuy Phan. Everyone knows this recession is taking its toll on many hardworking men and women out there, and homelessness is often a part of that equation. In this segment, we'll show you how one man beat the odds and is raising 5 children on his own with the help of AFH. Kenny Smith is no stranger to being homeless. In fact, it's all he knew before American Family Housing.
The first time I was homeless was probably about 6 months. And when I mean homeless is that I didn't actually have a residence. I kind of stayed here and there in abandoned cars. I was a drug addict, so it really didn't matter where I stayed. Incarcerated, every time I got incarcerated, I would get out and go back to my drug habit, so that would put me back into the streets. I never was like begging for money or pushing a shopping basket. I was more of the criminal type of homeless person, you know. And I mean, I don't know, I never looked homeless. I probably smelled homeless, you know, but it never mattered. It didn't matter as long as I had my drugs. I worked, you know. If I didn't work, then I sold drugs to keep myself high. I've been homeless 3 different times. That was due to my choice and my drug choices. But I lived in and out of men's homes. I think my second home was being locked up, was in jail. And so I was homeless quite a bit. And I don't ever want to do that again.
Having been in and out of jail and being on the streets, he had no one to worry about but himself. That is, until his wife lost custody of their 5 children, and he had the choice of either shaping up or seeing his kids separated and put into foster care.
I had to do like parenting, anger management, a number of, I can't even remember all the classes they sent me to. There was a whole bunch of them, but it was to see mentally where I was at, and that if I was capable of handling children. And when they told me I would get my kids back, I told them I didn't think I was able to handle it because I was questioning my own abilities. I started off, they gave me my baby Brody first. She was taken at birth from her mom, and they gave her to me at 2 months. And then 2 months after that, Emily and Haley followed. And that's how I ended up at American Family Housing.
He has 5 kids who are living with him, ranging from 2 years old to teenagers. With the help of AFH, he was able to find a job and a place for himself and kids.
This program was designed for me to be self-sufficient, work, finance myself, and so American Family Housing did help me find a permanent job in the field that I work at. They did help me to learn how to finance my money, be a good parent, and work on my life skills. And all of that, they gave me confidence that I didn't have before. That cycle of being a drug addict and being homeless to having something, I mean, it's really hard to break. You know, today I recently went to go take a AIDS test and a hepatitis test, and I came back negative. But the thought of me having a disease stem from my past was, it scares me. It really scares me. But on the other hand, I found a dirty needle on the ground today, and I picked it up and looked at it, and I just got the feeling of I could get high and nobody will know. You know, the drug addict mentality is still there. So I did break it and throw it away. Because everything I have, it might be small, it might be little, but it was given to me by my Lord Jesus. And I won't never go back. I will always, I remember what it was like. So I couldn't take my kids and trade them in for a sack of dope. And that's what I would be doing if I did that. American Family Housing has saved my life. Without this program, I mean, my kids, all three of the little girls, Emily, Haley, and Brody, would have been adopted out into foster care. Emily has many issues, and I think she would have been lost into the system somewhere, and it wouldn't have been good. I would never have gotten to know my older kids, Jasmine and Kenneth. I mean, I would have got to know them, but in a street level, and that's pretty low. I would have never had an opportunity to be to have a family, or to know what that was like. And the program has given me all of that. So I'm truly thankful to American Family Housing.
Smith says it isn't easy turning your life around the way he has, but every day he's reminded of why he needs to keep doing what he's been doing.
When they gave me Brody, she was just a little tiny baby. And that makes me cry every time I think of it, you know. I'm so proud of myself for just receiving my kids, doing what I had to do to make sure that they're not caught up in the system. That's what I'm most proud of. You know, I get all nervous. Just being a dad makes me proud. I've never been a dad. The last 2 years of my life, I've been trying to be a dad, and I've been a dad. I've never been a dad before. I've been a father. I had kids, but I've never been a dad. So I think that is my pride. That is who I am today. You know, my past life, I don't associate, talk to, or hang out with anybody that I used to know. And I'm proud of that, because my mind still drifts, but everything else physically, it stays here. You know, that's what I'm proud of. I'm proud of my kids knowing that they do have a dad that is their mom and that does love them. What's up, bro? Come here.
And look at my foot. It's going this way.
Okay.
And
Say hi. Here, take your jacket off.
Brody.
Okay, this is Brody. This is Bro. Say hi. Look at the camera.
Hey, Dad. And my foot's
okay.
It's twinkling, and it's changing my lips. Can I take my shoes?
This is who makes me most proud.
These programs at AFH are specific, and they are helping people one step at a time. However, there is only so much they can do. Hopefully in the future, more action will be taken in every community out there to help those in need. Until next time, we hope you learn more, live more, and always stay focused. Thanks for watching.
with the difference being that, as I'd mentioned earlier, most of the people work in our programs, and it's kind of one of the criteria to get into the programs, that you either have a job or that you're willing to be out and looking for a job. It used to be pretty strict that you had to have a job, but in these economic times we've had to relax that rule because it's hard to find a job, it takes longer. But in the Haven Project, it's 70% set aside for the chronically homeless. And chronically homeless are the people that have been living out on the streets for a period of time. And when they come into the program, they come with all the associative problems of substance abuse, mental issues, health issues, a lot of legal issues that they need help with unwinding all these sorts of things and putting their life back on a single track. So because of the nature of where they've come from and what they've been through, working or looking for a job, especially in initial stages, is not a requirement. What is a requirement is that on intake you come in clean and sober and you maintain that throughout the program. But we realize with the backgrounds that the people coming with us, that's not always going to be a consistent case. There are going to be times when they have a problem, they backslide, they fall into something, and we don't put people out of that program for that. We refer them into a detox if it's necessary, or to a higher level of counseling. And as long as they're willing to work with that, we're willing to work with them. If they refuse and say, no, my drinking or my drug habit or whatever else that they're doing is more important to them than maintaining their status in the program, then they're exited from the program.